So I grew up in a pastor's home. Actually, my grandpa was a pastor too. So then my dad, and it was kind of the assumption that I would grow up to be a pastor. I actually took a church out of college and started pastoring that church as a traditional senior pastor. So giving a sermon every Sunday and doing some counseling and kind of what you would think of from a normal pastor. I learned a lot of things. And one of the things that I learned is that I'm not supposed to be a traditional pastor. It just didn't fit me all that well. I can't remember a time growing up when I wasn't interested in cars. I've always kind of been what you would call a car guy. Just always loved cars, being around cars, car shows, everything. It's just a big part of who I am. So I actually moved to Rapid City and took a different job to kind of get on my feet and have a paycheck coming in. But a lot of people knew that I had come here for a different reason. And several people asked me why I was here. And I kind of told them this idea I had for a car ministry. And when people knew what I was here to do, they'd hear of a single mom or something whose car broke down, and they would refer them to me. And so then I kind of had to put a plan together. So Shift kind of started not very formal. It just kind of happened one day, and then more and more of my work was Shift until that became what I did. In this shop, for the last couple of years, we've been repairing 125 cars or so per year. So we now do in a year what it used to take 3 or 4 years to do. And God has just really blessed us in how we've been able to grow and impact the community. For the first 6 years of the Shift Garage ministry becoming a thing, we were under Fountain Springs Church. They gave us our start. They gave us the ability to even have this thing. And then in 2018, God kind of tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, I want you to do this next big thing. And it was a big step. And that step was to move out on our own and become our own nonprofit standalone ministry. And so I went to the church and explained to them that it looked like we could get bigger and more funding sources and then kind of make it a community thing where we had volunteers, not so much just from the one church, but really from all over the whole community. And it could be this thing that we as a city were pouring into and doing together. And that was a very exciting thing. And they were just as excited about that as I was. And so that's what we ended up doing. That was the next big step that we were able to accomplish. And it's just been really exciting since then to see what God has done. So volunteering at the Shift Garage is such a fulfilling way to serve people, because handing the keys back to someone whose car broke down and they weren't sure how they were going to get it fixed, or even handing the keys to somebody that's getting a car either for the very first time or the first time in a long time, brings them such hope and excitement about the possibilities for their future. It's such a rewarding job to be a part of that and be able to make that happen in their lives. I can't imagine doing something other than a car ministry. I've had opportunities to pastor local churches and I've worked a lot of different other jobs in my life, but this has been so fulfilling, and I'm so sure that this is what God has for my life, that there's really not another option for me. I know I wouldn't be happy doing anything else, and doing something else, God would keep bugging me to get back to doing this. And so I'm right where I need to be. So while we work at Shift because we're car guys, we love working on cars, and that's kind of what gets the publicity, is the car side of it. Shift is about more than that. Shift is a great spot to enter into a conversation about budgeting, finances, and car maintenance classes, because we want to affect more change than just cars. The car is a solution to a symptom, but the underlying problem is generational poverty, and that's what we want to affect. Fixing your car is a great spot to enter into a conversation about improving your finances, improving your life situation, and getting you to a better spot in life. And that's what we're actually all about here at the Shift Garage.